welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight, you already know it, I'm joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. And we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I missed you guys last week. Where were you?
You were the one missing. That's for sure.
Is that right? Okay, yeah. Welcome back to me then.
The show goes on.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, dude, every week we had a new episode for all the fans out there.
Tonight was a close call. I'm not gonna lie, but we are here, and I'm excited. So, big shout out to all of our listeners. We know you have you're here to listen to us discuss the finale of Daredevil: Born Again. And man, what a finale it was. So I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. But before we dive into it, big shout out to all of our friends, followers, listeners, everybody who tunes in on the reg. We really appreciate you. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of Daredevil. We want to remind you to share this podcast with your friends, especially any Marvel buddies you might have. Any friends of yours who are watching the Daredevil show, please just share this podcast with them. And then also subscribe wherever you listen. Okay, boys. We should probably jump in, huh?
Yeah, spoiler warning here.
Here's your big spoiler warning for the finale of Daredevil Born Again, which was called Straight to Hell.
Very fitting.
Yes.
Yes.
Very fitting. I'm shocked how fast this went by. The 9 episodes just kind of like in a blink and it was done.
It really was, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like when they first announced this, didn't they say it was going to be something kind of unorthodox?
Yeah, like 16.
I feel like I remember that number, maybe 18 or something like that, like a high teens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like maybe they either were just talking about the fact that it was going to be 2 seasons, or maybe they split a season.
Okay, maybe so. Yeah. Although there were a bunch of reshoots, right? So there could have been a whole new
Possible, yeah.
whole new direction.
But they're currently filming season 2 right now, and
Yeah.
the release date for season 2 is March, so we don't have to wait.
March like a year from now, March?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Dang. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, I think it's like March 23rd or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we really need shows to start, doing that.
Oh, when you have a script, like they had everything plotted out for the return of Daredevil, where they wanted to go between a season, 2 season arc.
Well, they've had years to figure it out.
True.
Well, you guys are alluding to this, but why don't we just talk about the overall? Now that the season is done.
Yeah.
Justin, do you want to ask your question that you love to ask?
Is Marvel back? I mean,
Daredevil's back.
I say it in jest nowadays, but in all actuality, this from beginning to end has been top notch, and I don't see how you can have Deadpool and Wolverine, Agatha all along, and this, and not say that Marvel has made a turn back to potentially being back.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the only thing that I would say is like they have to do something on the big screen that is not an inherited property.
2 weeks, man.
So that's going to be a big one. It's going to be when Thunderbolts comes out. That's going to be really, really big. And I will say overall, 2 out of those 3 properties you said were inherited properties. I think it'll be really telling how in the next couple of months the real direction of Marvel in Thunderbolts and then Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I know we're kind of off on like a little small tangent, but just want to hang it for 1 second. You mentioned like the inherited ones, but Agatha all along is probably like the most MCU-y thing they could have done is like they took a side character and then developed a show around it because the fans thought it was cool. And it actually turned out fantastic. Like it was a really solid production, quality writing.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
And it was a great show.
Loved it.
So, I mean, Thunderbolt, but there's hope. Maybe.
So can they do that with Ironheart?
We're not going to talk about that yet, okay? We'll get there. We'll review it in June, I believe. June.
Well, honestly, I mean, if they nail Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, it's all right if every once in a while there's a miss. If Ironheart is a miss,
Here's the thing, though. Speaking of misses, if this was the Infinity Saga and Thunderbolts came out, you knew it wasn't going to be a miss. That's the thing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
like
it
was
true. Because you'd be like, oh, this is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On Earth.
An ensemble. Yes, right. An ensemble piece.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Thunderbolts at a later point. But to Justin's notorious question,
That's right.
is Marvel back? The truth is, and I don't think they're going to go for this this tone in every project that they do. We saw a guy's skull get ripped in half.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man. Oof.
So they're not going to go with that tone in every project that they do, but there's just something about this gritty storyline, right?
Yeah.
That works.
It feels different.
It
too.
feels
yeah.
Yeah, but like, here's my point. Like, Secret Invasion could have felt this kind of tone, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
That's a
So,
good point.
These
Yeah.
grounded pieces that made Marvel was special for a lot of things in the past, but yeah, fantastical like outer space things, but also grounded movie projects in the past. Like we've talked about Winter Soldier, right? Like things that just way more simple. And so this is on the streets of New York. Man, what a finale!
Yeah.
yeah.
So excited to talk about it. But I'm not ready to say Marvel's back. I am ready to say I am ready to say that Kingpin is back.
Ooh, baby.
Oh yeah.
I was totally wrong about him becoming an anti-hero. That's for sure.
Yep.
He
Turn for the worse there.
dude, he's all wearing white now, man. He can't take
Yep.
that off. Yeah. It's great to see.
It was awesome.
Dude, how would you how he ranked that kill, man? That kill is like up there, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Just like the
Man.
sheer
For
brutality.
I googled right after that, like
that
how much force does it take
Yeah.
to crack the human skull, and it was
A lot.
I forgot it was a lot. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like,
That show, 1,000 Ways to Die.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on there, wasn't it? Skull cracking.
Well, I mean, not by someone's bare hands.
Yeah, no, that was wild, dude. So yeah, it was so gory. Like I watched it when it premiered, and then I have a friend that's like super squeamish about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
and he's
Me?
no, it was not you, surprisingly. But yeah, he's kind of lame for that. So if you're listening, like, yeah, you suck. But anyway, so I texted him. I said, hey, be prepared because this thing is quite gruesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I had to cover my eyes for part of it.
Yeah, I felt like in this episode, like it was kind of generally they were like, "Hey, it was like somebody came up and was like, "Hey, you remember you can be gory, right?" And they just like were like, "Oh," and then they were just like, "We're just gonna,
Yeah.
we're just gonna go to ham."
Am I watching, Peacemaker over here? Like, what am
Yeah,
what am
right.
I watching right now? You know?
And in case the listeners want to know how much force it takes to crack a skull, it's 1,100 pounds. So
Yeah, that's it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wilson Fisk, man, with his bare hands, he's killed many people with his bare hands.
he has. He
Not
likes
like that.
He likes that intimacy of up close.
And dude, the
and
way he
personal.
said that Commissioner Gallo resigned.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
I thought he fell in action or something like that.
I was expecting him to like say something like that, like
Yeah.
say, basically be
Covered
like,
up like he's a
but just
hero.
like, oh, like he was. Yeah. Once again, I was kind of expecting him to almost replace what he was going to do with Matt Murdock with the commissioner,
yeah,
essentially, and just be like, oh, well, he was out there trying to, bring order to chaos, and I don't know, maybe say he was killed by a vigilante or something
Yeah,
like that,
exactly. Which I feel like he could have used that, but it's okay. All right. Admittedly, guys, I don't know where to take this. I mean, overall, the show's great.
Yeah.
Overall, the finale is great.
Yeah.
So
We're done.
yeah,
Have a good night,
show.
everyone.
But like, is there a part of the finale where you guys want to start with?
Hmm.
You want to start with Fisk? You want to start with Daredevil?
I think let's start with Matt Murdock because he's in the
Okay.
hospital. I think that's
Yeah.
a good place to start because it was kind of like getting up on his feet kind of thing. Was I think it took a little too long to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You got shot. Cool. Great. You're Daredevil. Get up. Let's go.
Yeah.
But I found it interesting him like coming conscious, saying Karen while Heather sits standing.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
was tough.
Yeah,
I was like when I audibly was like, ooh,
that's rough.
That's a hard one. And then Kirsten comes in. She's like, he's on
It's the
drugs.
drugs.
Like, it's
Yes,
the
the
drugs.
drugs.
Like, and Heather's like, yeah, sure. But I thought the dialogue between him and Heather was actually really well. Like it was.
Dude, the
It was
Heather,
tough. It
the
was
Heather
tough.
Matt dynamic,
It's shifted so much, hasn't it?
and
Yeah.
I'm specifying the Heather Matt dynamic, not the Daredevil dynamic, right?
Right.
It's shifting a lot,
Yeah.
and like even getting to where Fisk is using her now.
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
that was a weird scene too.
But did she when she responded to his proposal of being the head of mental health or something
Right.
for his commit? I don't know, whatever. Did she seem nervous to say yes, or did you guys take it as like
She was proud.
she was proud?
Oh yeah, I think she was like gung ho.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like
Me too.
mainly because I think at this moment she still doesn't see it. Like and honestly, it's not 100%. It's not really her fault because no one has really shown her.
True. It's
Like,
true.
All she sees is things getting done.
Yes,
And
she sees things getting done, and everything that Matt has done so far. Although he was extremely heroic in his moment of saving Wilson Fisk in the last episode, he's textbook mental breakdown right now.
Yeah.
Like that from the outside, and especially with her acute knowledge of psychology, he is completely like losing it, and to the fact to where almost like maybe her part of her gung ho nature is literally she's thinking about how she can take care of Matt by taking this position.
yeah.
Like, there's a possibility of that. Like maybe it's like a sad like moment of she did this to help save him, and it's just gonna drive them apart.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe they'll probably still have the love dynamic going on, or there'll be some feelings in season 2. But I'm starting to feel like
I feel like
done.
they're probably
Yeah.
I do think they're like this is kind of like
what's more likely?
wedge.
What's more likely? Her wanting him back, or him wanting her back? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think her wanting him. I think he's gonna move on to like the city is his only true love, I guess.
To the job.
Yeah, he's married to the job. Yep.
Married to the work.
I mean, I think I actually kind of feel the other way. I feel like because of the fact that I think it's largely based around the fact that he feels like he lost her to a villain is going to make him, essentially fight for her and fight to help her see the light.
I mean, I see what you're saying that could be a possibility, but Karen's back in the picture, and I think that there was a lot going on with him and Karen throughout the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
That I was
Glad they didn't kiss, dude.
I was so glad they didn't kiss either.
Gosh, I was like, if they kiss right now,
yeah,
It'd be a weird.
I think it's
dive.
setting up for a
yes.
nice little like will they won't they triangle going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see how they incorporate that.
Okay, I'm not necessarily saying like they get together, or it could be like the first half of the next season is almost like you're saying, like a love triangle between the three of them.
Yeah.
Essentially, and maybe by halfway through the season, there's something that happens. He ends up picking Karen, and like Heather, he moves from a strictly or a potential romantic to
getting choked up over there talking about the
Yeah.
love triangle, huh?
yeah, to switch into a strictly, almost essentially like platonic, saving her soul rather than saving his feelings for her.
I think the only thing that would cause Matt to pursue Heather more would be the fact that he relates having a relationship with Heather as holding on to his humanity and not giving in to the devil within. I think that's I think that would be the only motivation I see of him pursuing her.
Yeah.
But because I fully think it's her gonna be caring more about him.
Well, we find him in the hospital.
Yes.
And Buck is on his way to kill him with a lethal
Yes.
injection.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I've never been so convinced of a failed mission about to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to fail because he was going to beat him up. So I guess that's the part where I was played.
Yeah.
But I was like, this ain't going to be successful.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Easiest miss ever. Like,
Yeah.
there you
It's
go.
like there's no chance here. But anyways, literally somehow, this is what's great about Daredevil. He's in a hospital gown.
Yeah.
He's blind, and no worries. Get my way back to my apartment.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
walk right past him. Yep.
And when he gets to his apartment,
Ooh, dude, I love when he sat down. This honestly,
well, he's chuckling as he's walking through the
right,
door.
correct.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick up on seeing any figures in the back or anything. And he's just like, "You're here," like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, who's you talking?" And then Frank's just standing there, clean
Yeah.
shaven, a haircut,
Looking
and everything.
good.
Yeah, dude, dang. But he's like, "Oh, you come to save me," or something like that. And he's like, "What?" And then Frank makes a joke of calling him like Gown Man or something, like Nightgown Man.
Yeah, what are they
or-
calling you now?
Yeah.
Gown Man,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
That was so funny. But they had a good talk too. Like that their conversation was really good too about you saved that SOB. Like, what do you?
Yeah, why'd you take
Yeah.
a bullet for him?
Yeah.
And I love how Matt's like he like sits up on the couch and he's like again with a little chuckle and he's like, "That's a good question." He like doesn't have an
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
It's just like his instinct.
He had no choice. Like that was just a part of him. is to save.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here for last week's penultimate, talking about the assassination attempt for Poindexter, but that really must be just like his nature, right?
Yeah. And I don't know. It could be partially like maybe deep down in a way that's himself not giving into the devil inside. Is like taking this idea of you save the person not because of who they are, what they do, but because they are a person.
Yeah.
I
mean, he spent half the season riddled with guilt because, he gave in and threw Bullseye off the rooftop, and he was like, I tried to kill him, and he obviously failed, but...
literally it took him a year and a half to get back up on there,
correct,
essentially.
Yeah, but they suit up or Daredevil suits up because there's people coming, and the van opens the doors and everybody comes running out.
So this scene in his apartment with Daredevil and Punisher just doing their own things differently, but both extremely violent.
Yes,
just one lethally violent. Man, how'd y'all take this scene in?
Dude, I was eating good, man. I was loving every bone break, every blood splatter, dude. It was so
every hand
so cool.
knife to the wall.
Yeah, the only thing that I would have changed was a little bit more light, but I get it. I understand.
It would have been nice for a little better lighting, but it was during a blackout.
Yeah,
So
it makes sense.
You got to give them a little bit for that, but like the animalistic brutality of the Punisher is just,
dude,
like his
grunts.
Yes, just like the sound he made was just like insane.
Even when he gets clipped by a bullet, like by his neck area, like the feral rage that he unleashes.
And the shot he gets right after that, where he's like, it's like, how do you even see where you're looking there?
Yeah. Absolutely trained killer.
What's that black guy's name again? Cole.
Yeah, Cole North.
Cole
I think.
North?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that right? Okay.
He's wearing the Punisher logo on his chest. Fanboys, all the fanboys.
Which is really insane to be wearing that around as you're running around as a cop.
Oh, I know.
Like literally, like you're essentially in uniform.
Yeah,
have that on. Although we've seen that through like the entire series where they have it like a tattoo on them, or something like crazy like that. But yeah,
he gets the knife in the hand to stick it to the wall.
Crazy.
Which I leaned over to my wife and I was like, I feel like when he has got dead weight there, his hand would fall and the knife would come right out. Like I don't know, but it stuck there really well, and he just kind of dangled there.
Ugh.
So it was gruesome.
Yeah, or just reach around and pull the knife out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was an explosion, and they jumped out the building.
Well, before that, though, again, the whole dynamic of Punisher's telling him to kill him.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt's like, no, I can't. Just, again, this whole kind of internal battle that Matt is having. And I don't know if you guys caught it. It happened so fast. But he was about to kill Cole North, and he's like, no, don't do it. It's not worth it. He's like, and then Punisher's like, it's not worth it. And then, without hesitation, he kills this other guy. Was that not worth it? And it's just like,
oh, I love that. Like
it was nothing. Just kills another guy.
That's a great point.
And Matt's just like, gosh, dude. He's like,
what about this guy?
He's like, he's like, and not like, what about this guy and points it at him? What about this guy and like
does it?
Awesome.
There's no hesitation. It just fits like Punisher's personality so much.
Yes.
It's like he's all about doing the action. Like the talking means nothing to him leading up to something.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the definition of shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, but back to the explosion, back to the grenade. Okay, like it looked cool. They had to get out of the apartment. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, who threw that grenade in there? They have no idea. Like Cole North died because of that.
Right. Yeah, that was the reason he died. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was somebody on the floor just trying to like save themselves, and they just
they weren't clear. But I am led to believe that someone threw a grenade in, and it's like, well, how do you know if your buddies were alive?
Or
Or
you just don't care.
The greater
Or
good.
you just don't care.
Honestly,
the greater good,
like,
man.
But then on top of that, it also doesn't make sense. Like, it took out an entire level of his apartment building.
Yeah, what kind of grenade was that?
Yeah, like that's not a normal grenade.
And I feel like if whatever crew comes to clean it up, like damage control or something, like whoever does, like they're gonna find all the Daredevil costumes in the storage facility on the outside of the building. Like I feel like that's compromised.
There's that, and a whole bunch of like crazy stuff like that. And honestly, if you're the one who threw the grenade, Like, why would you throw that kind of forceful grenade when you're that close?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, for all I know, it could have been Cole. Like, he could have been
Maybe
he
suicide grenade.
like he knew he was essentially gonna die.
Yeah.
He was just like,
So
that situation.
you make a good point about the Daredevil costumes. I want to bring up a larger point that they never explicitly clarify. How am I trying to say? I'm tired.
Why the task force is at Matt Murdock's apartment?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. They never tell us that the task force knows who
Daredevil.
that he's Daredevil. But I mean, obviously Buck knows because Buck
Is with he's with
he's talking to
Inner Circle.
Yeah, he's talking to Fisk about it the whole time. But in my mind, it's like they've got to know. Why wouldn't Fisk tell them?
Yeah. Honestly, it could have been. No, I don't think he did. To be honest with you, I think he respects.
yeah.
I think he respects Daredevil too much.
Respects the game.
Yeah. Honestly,
I think
yeah.
it's very possible that they
Like an Omar
he
thing
is-
here. What's going on right now?
Essentially, he escaped the hospital and he just sent the task force to go take care of. Essentially, they were following up on what Buck did.
Yeah.
Is what the way I
Take
is
out
the way I
Matt
see it.
Murdock.
Because
kinda
we
thing.
need this person to be the martyr of this situation.
Now they should have put 2 and 2 together,
That's
and,
what-
and,
well,
and
yeah, I'm wondering that.
Cole should have been while he's hanging there, and he's like, "So you're the lawyer. How are you able to do this?" And then the grenade goes off, and he's the only witness, and he dies. Like that kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
That would have been cool. Like if it's
Yeah.
like, oh, he has that moment of like knowledge, and then
Clarity.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then he dies.
Yep. And but I thought it was funny. He takes Frank Castle and jumps off with the rope, but he he literally like grabs him like he's like
On the hip,
yeah,
like
on
he's
the
a
hip,
kid.
yeah. And they land on the car. But I thought it looked funny. Like
Yes.
I don't know, it was
Yes.
strange.
Yes.
To see the Punisher who just mowed down all those people get scooped up like a damsel in distress.
Yeah, I'm sure it had to have been a little bit like emasculating for
Yeah.
him in that moment.
Oh, for Punisher? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I would have loved to have seen him like a little bit like back and forth of them for a moment. You know, just like, man, you didn't have to carry me like that.
Yeah.
He's like,
Didn't
well, what
ask
you want
for
me?
your help.
What did you or like something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for your help. He's like, oh, so you just wanted to drop to your death?
Yeah,
Like something like
yeah,
that. You know?
Like I feel like Frank Castle is the definition of like aim for the bushes and then jump off the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like 6 stories up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go for the
exactly.
bushes.
Yeah.
So stupid. All right. If you know, you know. Okay, so yeah, but they survive that, and Karen shows up.
Convenient.
Uh huh.
Well, not
Very
convenient, but
I mean, it's
Yes.
convenient. Where you been all season? Exactly.
yeah,
San Francisco.
Yeah.
she's been in San Francisco. Well, I mean,
She called Frank. Yeah, we
Yes.
get that to help out, and she showed up the very last.
honestly,
episode.
she was probably around the corner. Like,
While this is all going down, yeah.
she probably gave the Punisher a ride. And
He
like,
can't swing around
No,
the
he took
city.
the subway.
Yeah. With all of his like weaponry in his,
Yeah.
in his coat.
Yes.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure she was probably just like, literally, like I said, she was around the corner, but she knew that like being in that apartment building would have been no good for
Yeah,
anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know,
And then she sees it like explode. She's like, "Oh, okay, we should probably get going
and then she
here."
sees them fall. It's like, oh, okay, I need to be getting them
Yeah.
up.
And she brings him back to Frank's lair, the
Yes.
warehouse.
Lair is a good word.
To get stitched up and fixed, and
Hide out.
Frank is just stitching himself up, and
Yes.
she's taking care of.
Yeah, I do like the you know, it's a character study in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Right there, like the way that Frank is so by himself, and he's patching himself up, and Daredevil is much more connected to the world. So he's got Karen helping him out. A little bit of the classic like talk about how are we sure Matt Murdock is blind, and like shows all the women he's ever been with.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of
Right.
this situation. He gets the classic like injured soldier treatment as she's patching him up.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, he's not blind. There's no way.
That's good.
But I think Frank, he is playing off like
The tough
he's
guy?
the tough guy act, and
She even calls him out on it.
she does,
Yeah, she
which I
does.
was actually very impressed that she did that because like Matt ends up like walking out, and she comes back in, and she calls him out, and she's like, "I know you care, like you play it off like you don't, but
Yeah.
it's getting old, that kind of thing."
Yeah,
And-
which is really interesting because she's a very interesting character for the Punisher, because she is essentially she's what the Punisher is to a lot of other people. at least like in a verbal way. She doesn't. She checks him and she like calls him out, and no one else really does that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what the Punisher does to other people. Like we've seen even in this series, like him calling out Matt multiple times for his, his hypocrisies and his double meanings of what he's saying and things like that. And I feel like Karen is not afraid to do that to him.
That's a good point.
Yeah, very good point. But they eventually leave Frank to go look for Foggy's files because apparently he discovered something, and they need to.
And that was a cool how they showed because so he goes to Matt goes to Josie's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And she brings out the O'Melvanese, and Matt's like, he would have been drinking that. She's like, no, he was.
Yes.
And he knows he only drinks that when he's celebrating a win. And so that's the moment that he realized like he won something.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought that was a cool reveal how they did all that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that was super cool. And it leads back to that conversation they were having at the very beginning of the episode in the hospital, and like it was a very like sad scene, like seeing like just these people not believe him, like his girlfriend and his partner-in-law are both like completely not like
he's delusional.
Yeah, he's delusional, and it's
drugs.
And once again, it's feeding into like this whole like the potential mental illness that like, and that's Heather seeing this whole situation is that situation is like that he just wants things to connect.
Yes.
When in Heather's mind, these things aren't connected.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that the scene where they're going through the files and they're kind of having the conversation about the heartbeats and the flutter, like that. I mean, yeah, it's a little cheesy at times, but I think actually it worked for me. Like it got the point across. Like, yeah, there's feelings there still, but also Frank has feelings for Karen.
Right.
Like it was cheesy, but it worked.
Yeah, I think it works well.
Well, and it also kind of like just points out the fact that like it would be something you would notice. Like it's something that he notices. They show him notice all the time is people's heartbeats changing in certain situations, but usually it's with them lying. But like it would make sense that that the first time he sees her in a very long time, that there's something.
And it's funny because she said what was my heart when I saw like Frank, and he was like, oh, it's probably the adrenaline or whatever, but then she said, what did my heart do when I saw you? And she's like I don't know, it's probably the adrenaline.
Yeah, throws it back at her.
Yeah, right back at her. But I thought that was interesting. But
so two more things with Daredevil.
Yeah.
So they end up going to Red Hook.
Yes.
Karen and Matt, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go down there, and like I don't know exactly how much time is left in the finale at this point, but I'm like,
nah,
he's not going down there. First of all, he can't hardly walk.
Yeah.
Which I pointed out to my wife. I was like, is there ever a time where he's not 100% going against Kingpin? Like, if he's going to fight Kingpin here, he's literally got a bullet in his chest. Like, can this guy be 100% healthy when he fights this guy for once? Like,
for once, exactly. No, man, that's how boss battles work. You got to
heroes got to be nerfed.
Yeah.
But this is where he ends up talking about, or Karen really is the one who talks about it going down there. She's like, he's got an army, and he's like, so I need to get an army.
Yeah.
We need to get an army.
Yeah.
And so this is how Matt's going to restart the Avengers, right? Right. Or at least the New York Vigilante Avengers.
Task Force. No.
The anti Task Force?
I don't know. This is probably like the one scene where I was a little bit disappointed just because when you go into the bar and you see just
some random cops.
Angie Kim, right? Is that her name, I think?
Yeah. Agent Kim, Cherry, Josie's there, some random cops.
I would have liked to. I think the most disappointing part about it was the fact that there wasn't one low level Marvel character in there.
Something.
I would have settled
Iron Fist, I know there's a lot of bad feeling about that, but like, or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I would have settled for like everyone's in there that we saw, and then walking into the bar is Jessica Jones. Like I feel like that would have been 100% pleased with that if that was just it.
Yeah,
but no, we didn't get any of that. But
so there's no one even remotely super powered in that group, most likely.
Literally, they're in New York City, and there's at least 5 heroes that are either asleep while all this is going on, or I don't know what.
There's like 5 heroes literally in Hell's Kitchen.
In Hell's Kitchen, yeah.
Like not even you don't even have to go outside of.
That's a good point too.
Hell's Kitchen.
You're right. Oh man.
That's funny. So, I think that's about it on Daredevil. Like Matt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still want to talk about Fisk here.
Oh yeah. There's a lot there too.
There's a lot with Fisk. Where do we want to start?
Ooh. I mean, I think when him and Vanessa are consoling each other at the fireplace, like, is it consoling? Really? Like, I don't know. It's like,
I mean, an attempt on his life.
yeah,
Has happened,
but she.
but that's like normal.
I don't know.
for him,
I feel
right?
like, yeah, I feel like that brought them closer together. I think,
trauma
obviously,
bonding,
yeah,
yeah.
trauma bonding. But him being covered in blood and her like wiping off the blood from her,
Yeah.
and knowing it was Matt's blood was, I think, a little bit more intense for me. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's not Kingpin's blood, and it's all Matt's, and yet he's like trauma bonding over this incident that is Matt Murdock, Daredevil's blood, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The main thing with Fisk, he orders the hit on Matt, but this is where Fisk, I mean, in this episode, completely just reverts back. I mean, Gallo says the most poignant thing the whole episode. He's like, "You haven't changed at all.
Yeah,
I was right. You're still Kingpin."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what sets him over the edge for some reason. Even though part of me wants to be like, "Dude, of course you're still Kingpin. Just say it."
yeah. Why not?
Like at this point, dude, look at what you're doing.
Yeah, you're even wearing the suit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Which, when he's with Vanessa in the beginning, he says, "Yeah, before we had something good going on, but now." He was pointing out, like, we were doing millions, now we can do billions.
Now we can do
and he
billions.
was like talking about how him in this position has opened up the doors for their empire to thrive and
grow exponentially. Yeah.
I think it was like the final like reconciliation between them, like in this moment, like her kind of seeing, because I think although like she was back and she loved him, and like her killing Adam was like one of the final like straws about loving him, but maybe she wasn't 100% in to like the business side of him yet, and like him actually like laying out why he did what he did in Red Hook, like was the final like he isn't, there isn't an ounce of weak in him.
yeah.
Like that there, even though I think she still felt like there might be a sliver,
Yeah.
that he might not be there business wise,
Fully back, yeah.
But I think this like really solidified. She was like, "Oh yes,
Yeah.
This is it. We're back."
So then, like, after he orders the hit, he's now talking to Donald is it Donald? Or
Daniel?
Daniel. He's talking to Daniel and Sheila about who can we trust, who's on our side, that kind of thing, and fire whoever's not, or get rid of them, or whatever.
Yeah, he was to tell Sheila specifically to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought Daniel and Sheila's next two scenes that they were both in was done really well, because Daniel all of a sudden is empowered, and he is, dude.
Dude, the city council?
Oh yes, that's
amazing.
The city council. They're all like talking down to him, but he's chilling in this chair, dude.
And like Buck is backup.
But yeah. Buck is the backup there,
Yeah.
and
crazy.
Daniel's laying it down. Like, oh, okay, like you're not gonna like this, like that kind of thing. Like he's just like 100% threatening them,
Yeah.
openly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they're like, "Are you threatening us?" He's like, "No, not at all. Like I'm
No,
a
we're just trying
concerned
to see-
citizen.
yeah,
That's all.
exactly.
Like that kind of thing." But he reminded me so much of his dad in that scene.
Yeah.
More than anything, like with The Sopranos. Like I was like, "Holy crap! Like this guy, he can do it.
Yeah.
He can do it." And then Buck was his little muscle there. It was a phenomenal scene.
Buck is very versatile. I'm not gonna lie. Buck's my
He's
dog,
utility
dude.
knife, dude. Utility knife.
Utility knife for
Anything,
sure.
he's got it, dude.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Um,
He's a good piece in this.
Sheila's scene was more telling, I think.
Okay, let's talk about
because she leaves and Gallo is like right there, and he's like, "I'm going to Washington. I'm stopping this madness. It's over." And she's like, "I can't go with you, but I'll help you and whatever." Only to find out a couple scenes later that she actually realizes the danger that she is in, and she stays on Fisk's side and turns over a recording of Gallo trying to come at him, and like,
So instant brownie points for her.
Oh, yeah,
in Fisk's mind.
yeah, because she probably felt like she was losing the battle.
Oh, yeah.
She probably thought like her time has come. Like,
This was a desperate play for her. That one that you could see her regretting.
yeah, well, yeah, that her scene with her up against the wall, like,
Yeah.
just,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what have I done? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
You felt
after
that.
you find out that Gallo is, resigned.
Basically done for.
Yeah, like
And she doesn't know that. He's dead. And when he says resign,
Yeah, she's led to believe that
she's like here's what I'm saying.
he tried to resign in episode 1, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but she probably knows he's dead or at least like taken in.
Yeah, I feel like that moment she knows that she led him down a path that, at the very least, led to him being forced out of his position and probably disgracefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
And or potentially that he was killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Which, when he left, he got scooped up.
Well, who did he get scooped up by?
He got scooped up by a Punisher cop, but it was one of Fist's guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but of course, that was, it was a little sad. Like, he's talking to this guy.
He knew him.
He knew him.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like another part of it. Like, that was important is like, these aren't just random cops.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally seeing the cops that he was.
He called it fresh ink. I mean, the tattoo was still fresh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oof.
And
the mark of the beast over here, man.
and like just seeing like these people that he thought were good cops, like choosing to side with Fisk.
When Sheila called it, I think Sheila said it to Gallo, calling it his, or no, it was BB, I believe, who called it his SS, like.
Yeah, personal firing squad, basically like the.
Yeah.
Literally like the SS in Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just wild. But yeah, I mean, these cops are like, it started out where it was just like a small remnant of them, and now it's probably like, well, you're either in or you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like now everybody's got to be in.
Yeah.
You have
or
to give them a
you're
choice.
honestly, like it's almost setting up to where it's like you're either with Fisk or you're with Daredevil. Like that's kind of what's happening with those. It's almost like you're getting pushed into either camp. Like you got to make a choice, otherwise, if you're stuck in the middle, you're done.
Yeah. It's crazy. So anyways, the power goes out in the city.
Yes.
So this is all like, okay, a few hours prior, Fisk, an attempt on his life is made.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're reconvening, trying to figure out what to do. Then they pull the plug literally on the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looting everywhere.
Send
chaos
the city
in,
in
the
a
streets.
chaos.
Yeah.
And Gallo refers to this like he sees it's coming, so he's giving Sheila the heads up, but she seems to know about it too. But anyways, the whole point is the city just erupts into chaos. And the next morning, the sun comes out, the power comes back on, and this is where Fisk enacts his Safer Streets initiative or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Martial law.
Martial law. Yeah.
The curfew by 8:00. That he's assumed power over everything.
Yes.
The city that never sleeps. Curfew at 8.
Oh yeah. How wild is that to actually happen in New York? If that were to happen,
Dude, how about okay? So there's this little kid, not a little kid, but a young man, late teens, early 20s, who was looting something.
Yeah.
And puts it down. He's like giving up, and the cop just kills him in cold blood.
Yeah, which is interesting because there's two cops there, and the cop who doesn't shoot him has a Punisher tattoo.
Yeah.
And he is like, he seems to be pretty.
Dude, he's just a kid, literally, and then he's like, no, he's a vigilante.
Yeah, and like
pulls his freaking beanie down.
Man.
Yeah,
which will be interesting. I could see an avenue of is this cop going to end up being like, is going to be like second guessing and join Daredevil's army, but be Daredevil's, pun intended, eyes inside of Fisk's organization because
they show him later again.
He's there, but you can tell he's like he's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
he's uncomfortable with what has transpired, and he does already have the Punisher tattoo. Now, who knows up until that point, what does the Punisher tattoo really mean? Is it just something that's like? Did he really understand what he was getting himself into when he just chose to do that? And he's going to start regretting those decisions.
And again, that cop you're referencing, they literally show in the quick montage at the end of the episode of different people around the city, so that they make a point to show that guy again. So that's a good shout, Amato. We might
see if that plays out, but but
it gives you an idea of how crazy the city is.
Right, correct. And so Kingpin, obviously, he's rounding up all the people that are against him, essentially, right? But at the same time, when Daredevil is debating whether or not to go into Red Hook, Punisher makes his way to Red Hook, and he goes in, and he literally goes to take on everybody by himself. And he's mowing down cop after cop, dude. This is an intense scene, too.
I thought it was going to be death by cop, bro.
Yeah, I did too. But then they end up capturing him.
Yeah.
And they tied him up to a chair. This scene was quite interesting because we got Officer Powell, who's right there in front of him while he's chained up, and Punisher's literally like, "You guys look up to me," and then he throws it back at them like,
Bunch
Yeah.
of clowns.
"Yeah, you're clowns. You guys are idiots. Like, you don't know my pain." And John Bernthal, man, I don't know what we need to get this guy like an award for everything. Like this is all of his performances are amazing.
Yeah.
He was only I watched a movie over the last weekend called The Amateur. He's only in it for maybe 15 minutes. Amazing. I mean, amazing. Like he does such a good job. So anyway, I think he did a great job there too. But all the cops around him wearing the Punisher logo. Obviously, it's not quite the exact one. It looks slightly off, but
Yeah.
they all look up to him. They they respect him, and so he literally said, "Having you here is an honor." Like,
Yeah.
it's such a weird scene. But then he has like you said, Shimano. He talks back when he feels like there's something unjust or whatever. Like he's literally mouthing off to him like, "You guys don't understand. You don't understand what you're picking up and what you're choosing to follow. Like the pain is not there for you. Like, but yeah." And then he ends up being captured in these cages.
The cages, bro.
Yes. They're just
Bro.
walking.
It's an internment camp. That's what it is. Like that's what it is. It's
straight-
concentration camp. Yeah.
Yeah. The crazy thing is like they're literally just walking down. They're not like the audacity of power in this moment.
Yes.
For Kingpin.
Yeah.
Is just like insane because of the fact that they're literally just walking down between some of the most powerful people in New York City.
Yeah, the swordsman. He's in there.
Yeah, the swordsman's in there.
Cages.
They got Jack.
They're not only are they in cages, like Fisk isn't trying to cover his face. He isn't anything. He's not trying to cover his prisoner's faces. Like he is just there.
Yeah.
Like the amount of power that you're showing by the fact that you don't care that they see your face.
I want to talk about these cages. Two things about these cages. One, they're like this awkward size where you can't like stand up inside them.
Dude, it's a dog kennel.
So, yes, it's literally a dog kennel.
Yeah.
But they're also, this is kind of weird to me. They are also set up with the lights on them as if they are like art displays. And with Vanessa walking there with him, it's like it's literally
She helped design the
yes, dude. Dude, it's like he's just like they're like toys. They're like collectible items for him.
Yeah.
You know?
They're collections. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to him.
Just collecting vigilantes.
Yeah.
Where's Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's a big question.
He ain't gonna get Spider-Man, bro. I promise
that's
you
a
that.
huge question.
Sony will not let him get.
No, Miles. No,
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Okay, I do want to talk about maybe some implications of this, which actually could involve Spider-Man. But is there anything else about this finale before we get into some maybe like speculation moving forward?
Including the post-credit scene, right? Like,
Yeah, well, let's do post-credit scene right now.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. The post-credit scene, Frank is in this cage, and he is able to sweet talk one of the guards to come and shake his hand.
Yeah,
And
Italian guy from Jersey.
as soon,
Yeah.
oh gosh, as soon as I saw him shake his hand, I was like,
It's over.
he's breaking that bone and using it to pick the lock. I saw that 1,000% away.
Yeah, I was
Rip
like,
his
what are
arm
you
right
doing,
off.
dude?
Dude,
Like, you know
snap.
who the Punisher is.
Listen, he snapped that arm, and then you literally heard the lock pick as soon as the screen went dark. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was so
Oh,
disgusting.
he's getting out of there, and he's letting them all out.
What that sets up for is they announced like 2 weeks ago that you remember the Werewolf by Night special.
Yes.
They're doing a Punisher special.
Punisher by night.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
That would be cool.
But so anyway, they're doing a Punisher special, and this
Yeah, it's like
honestly,
it's
it's like
basically a little mini movie.
yeah, exactly, like a 55-minute movie, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But so yeah, this sets up basically for that. I mean, he's out. So that's exciting, and that's where I see Frank's path going. Maybe he's on a war tour to eliminate all these Punisher tattoo cops. And
I still think that would be super cool. Like just him, just like essentially just picking off like different cops, like they're the Punisher cops.
like I said before, like he's collecting scalps, like he's ripping the tattoos off, and he's
Essentially,
collecting them.
yeah, that'll be phenomenal.
Gosh, that's crazy.
yeah.
Um,
But the implications for
okay, here's the thing.
Daredevil.
This is well, not just Daredevil for the MCU. This
Yeah.
is New York City.
Yeah.
This is the hub of all things Marvel. Right?
Yes.
implications for the whole universe.
This
what you're
is
saying.
yeah. And this is Fisk. You know, Matt at one point talked about the Fisks turning into their own like little state.
right.
You know,
Yes.
city state.
Yeah.
And it's like this is Fisk essentially turning New York into his own playground. He's got his own little, like the police force,
Militia, yeah.
basically his army.
Yeah.
But all I can think of is like, okay, I guess the next Spider-Man movie comes after Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, it would.
So
It would, yeah.
unfortunately, see, this is where they get me, man, because when this ended, I was like, I didn't know that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably gonna be the status of New York.
Doesn't Thunderbolts take place in New York? Like, I feel like
In some
there's a
places.
city. I know, but I'm just like,
I have no idea where.
yeah.
But like, my thing is like, at first I was like, oh man, that new Spider-Man movie, it's gonna be dealing with this reality. But here's the thing: they're gonna wrap this whole storyline up in season 2.
Yeah.
It's not gonna tie into Sony's work with the
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
he'll
movie.
be off like he's
He'll
been
be on
off
the raft.
He'll be off in Boston like
Oh, you mean Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. He'll be off in
Okay.
Boston trying to win back MJ. Who's up at MIT.
Probably. Probably. Yeah, or like Fisk will just be like on the raft and the holes. I just feel like that's the sad part where it's like, Spider-Man should be involved in this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
he can't be.
Dude, even if it's Spider-Man who's not involved, literally, you could have Kate Bishop involved because she's in New York. She's in New York City.
Because her
You-
stepdad's
yeah.
there or whatever.
You can,
Yeah.
Kamala Khan is literally one train ride over. Like she's
literally
she's right there.
her father literally showed up at this series.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And then all the other street villains, like our street heroes, like Jessica Jones and Luke
Yes,
Cage, all these
yeah.
people are available.
I think they're going to give us that in season 2.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not
Yes.
Spider-Man, but all the other little.
I agree.
I would love to see them bring back essentially the Defenders, essentially bring all those guys back. Maybe we could leave Iron Fist out, but
Yeah.
which honestly Iron Fist hurt a lot.
I mean, I'm willing to give the character of Danny Rand another shot. I don't know
Yeah.
if we want to bring the actor back though, but
because I love Iron Fist. I actually really like his.
Oh
character.
yeah, he's a sneaky, interesting character.
Yes,
for sure.
but I just feel like the actual portrayal and everything did not go.
Yeah,
well.
I mean, just thinking about the properties that come out between Daredevil season 1 and Daredevil season 2, I don't think Ironheart's going to take place in the city, right?
I don't think so.
That's probably-
'cause I think that was on the West Coast, wasn't it?
Mm,
Wasn't she living on the West Coast? In Wakanda
For some
forever?
reason, I thought it was like Louisiana or something like that. I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't think it took place in New York City. Period. And
And then you got Fantastic Four, which very much might be a period piece.
or in a different New York.
Yeah, or in a different New
New
York.
York,
Those are
yes.
those are your options.
yeah.
Or both. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then you got Thunderbolts, which honestly I feel like that was out west. I feel like they especially because they have that one desert scene. When they're
Yeah, that's
driving.
true. Good point.
I feel like it's
Good
more
point.
like Vegas, maybe potentially, or at the very least west.
Yeah. So there's a potential where this could end up being a eternal situation where they don't address this at all.
Probably.
Yeah.
Knowing Marvel, that'll
That's-
probably be it.
that's
Or
the
just
MO.
everything's been resolved by the time that it comes back around.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's what I think. Like the fact that season 2 is next year. Like
Yeah.
earlier, you were excited about that, and for me, I was like, "Well, man, that means this is probably going to end."
Yeah.
It's true.
This whole situation.
What
Yeah.
we
gonna
need
wrap
is
it up.
we need to get Danny Glover back, or Donald Glover back in this.
Danny Glover would be wild.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
As the Prowler.
Yeah.
And have him be like
Working
working,
for Fisk?
with Fisk.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Would be phenomenal.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I
That'd
I
be
want.
a nice transition to
My
Miles.
thing is, I want more of Fisk. We know that D'Onofrio could carry this beyond just shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fisk can be a top tier villain even for movies if they'd allow it.
He literally could be a saga villain, I think,
Yeah, he could be.
with some things that he can pull off.
Like especially when they start getting into like as more things are grounded. Maybe once they get and maybe the problem is we're about to get into this whole doomsday world and battle world and secret wars. But when things get more grounded and they're just in the cities, like I feel like Fisk can be that
Why
kind of
not,
villain.
right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, ending on a sad note there, we are very positive on this show.
Yeah, no, this
Oh,
show
yeah.
this show's fantastic. I'm looking forward to season 2. And if nothing happens with any other Marvel properties with this situation, I'm fine seeing it resolved in season 2. Like I'm okay with this being just in Daredevil. I get it. It's just
this is where I get.
It would be
to that-
nice.
This is where I get to that point where it's like I always want more crossover.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
You know.
Never satisfied, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are gluttons for punishment, man. Like this whole Marvel connectivity game that we're
Yeah,
gonna play.
we've been spoiled, so we want more crossover. So, okay, I think that's about it, guys. We're done. We're wrapped up. Daredevil, Born Again, wonderful show. We're so glad you tuned in to listen to our reviews of it. We want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends. And be sure to come on back. We're going to have plenty more Marvel things to cover.
Dude,
We're
Andor next
about to do Andor in the next 4 weeks because they're going to drop the entire season in 4 weeks. So pray that we're able to somehow watch all those episodes every week for our reviews.
I'm predicting Tyler's not going to be on 2 of those episodes.
Sorry, guys. You got to do it without
He's gonna be
me.
mysteriously out of town.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what it wouldn't work is but that means then the next week I have to get 6 episodes.
Well, you could watch the episodes and just not be on the podcast. I don't know.
Ah, man.
You do things by
if you cook the dinner, you got to eat the dinner, right?
You better.
But yeah, we're going to be covering Andor soon. So, and by soon we mean next week. So come back next week for that. And with all that in mind, from my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.